How are we living, boys? Today we're actually doing the Briar Q&A. This is where I gave you the chance to talk to me on YouTube community, Discord, my stream, anywhere at all. I compiled every single question and we're going to answer everything for you. Hopefully this helps you a ton, and I'm going to give you some gameplay to watch. In the meantime, enjoy. And a little tidbit is this will have a lot of string of consciousness, and I'm going to be yapping for a part. I'll try and stay on top of you as best I can, but here's the thing. You're not going to find the deepest, coolest things at surface level. You have to go in depth. So that's the point. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so the first question actually says, how to finish games as Briar? I often get into a situation where I personally get ahead, but my team just goes even or falls behind, and I eventually lose my mind, lose my own advantage too. So here's the thing. As Briar, you will get early advantages. She has an awesome early game. A point-and-click stun is so much, okay? It is actually way stronger, and if you don't think a point-and-click stun early game is strong, you are wrong. That's it. So I wouldn't draw the line at Briar, though. How to finish games. All right, how do I finish games? Well, you need to take control of the map better. You need to, usually when you're ending games, it's usually around mid-game. So what should you do in mid-game? You should be getting more dragons, okay? Right, that's what we prioritize here. Grubs, stop doing grubs, okay? Stay farmed, because that's levels, that's advantage, that's average level, and you'll stay, as per the game. So dragons staying farmed up, but also not dying. Your deaths, go back and watch your deaths. Who is it? Greggy? Greggy, go watch your deaths, man. Because when you're dead, no one on your team is making game winners, okay? Jungle is the role that does kind of facilitates the game in a way. You're the one that will be creating advantages in side lanes. You're the one that will be showing up to team fights and facilitating them in the way that you will be doing the dragons and kind of getting your team, corralling them to the dragon. So it's kind of just on you. You will end games when you start understanding what ends games, and what does that is facilitating your team. Try and reduce the amount of decisions your team gets to make too. Let them think they did, right? Let them think like, hey, I reset before this dragon, right? Let them think they did that. When in reality, you pinged the dragon timer and said 5v5 here. Stuff like that goes a long way. I would say really just minimize your deaths and then maximize your dragons, and that's it. But other than that, it's not gonna come easy. Some games are gonna go long, whether or not you like it. Okay, this question says, Yo Logan, why do you go Eclipse first item? I know it's cheap, 400 gold less than Bork. However, if you compare the damage, only having first item, they're both around the same damage. The thing is, Bork also gives you sustain, which scales with more AD you get, more damage as enemies get more HP, and a slow. In my opinion, the rush Eclipse only because of the niche 1 to 2 plays that you can get basically guaranteed kills is kind of bad. Bork scales insanely now. The HP on hit is insane on Briar. I firmly believe that running a Bruiser-like build, you can get a maximum of 2 non-HP items if you want to best itemization. So I don't look at the game like this, okay? And I think there's some flaws in this. Maybe I go back and I watch this and I'm like, Logan, why'd you say that? But, so the comparison of like just flat out damage doesn't really exist to me, that flat out like that. Like, hey, when I'm on one item, I'm this, and when I'm on one item, I'm that. It's like, yeah, taken into account, but that's not showing the whole picture here, right? So like, think about Eclipse proc, right? If I WQ auto W2, I will get more damage from Eclipse because it's a shorter burst and I do more damage, okay? So now it's kind of give and take, right? If I do small short combos, my Eclipse is better. And if I have more time to auto attack, then Bork is better, okay? Well, it comes down to team comp then, right? If you're against a high CC team comp or a team comp that has high CC and out team fights you, you will never get those autos to see the lifesteal, whereas Eclipse procs off the jump, right? So now they're different, okay? And then more things come into that, like, let's talk about build paths, right? You don't always want to buy just flat attack speed on Briar. It's like not that great in comparison to Caulfield's pickaxe, things like that. And then also if you go Bork, then odds are you're not going Sundered Sky second, which again, they're just two different builds. So why do I like Eclipse Sundered Sky? Because the short burst trade works in high elo a lot better. In my opinion, when I'm playing jungle, right, I have to maximize how fast I get into the gank and then how fast I get out, right? Because the longer I'm standing in this mid lane play, the more camps I'm losing, the more tempo I'm losing? What if, I'm letting people come back from base faster? I mean, there's just so much to it. So I like when I'm playing in high-low, right? When I got GM, it's on Eclipse Under Skies because hop in, do my damage, hit my E, and get out, right? Hop in, do my damage, get out. Whereas Bork is definitely better in low elo because people aren't going to punish you as hard, right? You get more free time, especially in team fights. You get more autos, where you can auto more. So they're just different, really. In a world where you have to, enemy team fully hard counters you, try Eclipse Under Sky. I bet you have a better time because you get the shield, you get the heal, and then you're already hitting E when they go to trade back damage. Whereas when you're against low CC teams that have like chonkers, go Borg. It's good. Yeah, so I just I don't really see I don't really like the comparison. It's looking at League way too linear. I would say I don't know you, but I would say open your mind just a little bit that this game is so complex, okay? There's going to be times where you can only have 1.4 seconds in a team fight and some builds that you can have 1.6. And League is so crazy in depth that you can't do that to yourself. You really can't. So I would say open your mind, try them, figure them out, and then if you hate one, hate it, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you just don't have a playstyle for short burst trades, or maybe you have a tank playstyle. They're all fine. It's just defined by how much you know about them and how far you can take them. Okay, this question says, I've been only playing Briar since I started this game. Now I'm Silver 4. How can I transfer my skill on Briar to other champions the quickest? Recommendation for when she gets banned, and I almost always lose when Briar's banned. So this is kind of multifaceted, but I'll keep it direct, okay? How do you transfer your skill on Briar to other champions? I wouldn't say you really have a skill on Briar. You have a League of Legends skill that Briar allows, okay? So just do the same things that you're doing on Briar on any other champ that you like, really. Implying it's in the same, role or anything like that, right? So if you play Briar and you like Nocturne, play Nocturne, do the same thing. Full clear, try and gank, see how it goes, reset, get your items, reset again, look for a fight, do the same thing. It's really not that crazy. I will say there's maybe a small niche percentage worth noting this, that because you picked up the game and started playing Briar, your right clicks are probably bad on other champs because W can be rough to start the game with because it does running at the enemy super easily, right? But yeah, I would say just learn League, learn a champ that you want to learn, and don't make it try not make it a Briar thing, right? I'll try and reword your question, right? If you were to pick, let's do this for example. Let's say you like Gwen, okay? So change your question. Instead of how can I transfer my skill on Briar to Gwen, just say how can I learn Gwen, and then just learn Gwen. It's awesome, right? So yeah, try and take Briar out of any question that isn't directly related to her, and just it's kind of easy to learn things now. It's well, how do I learn Gwen? Queue up some Gwen games, learn what she does, learn how it interacts with other people, and then bam, you have a secondary that you like. So I wouldn't worry too much about transferring anything if you meant that directly. I would say just learn League. It's a complicated game. Trust the process. Try and enjoy it as much as you can. Keep playing the game. That's all you got. All right, we got Greggy again. What's a more important objective to play for? Briar's very good at doing grubs. They seem to be decently strong, especially if you only have to trade one Drake for both. When do I path top? Most people say you should path bot about 80% of the time. How do I identify when it's a good idea to path toward top instead? How to deal with junglers that are bound to outscale you, primarily full clearing AP junglers. So, most important objective in the game is dragons. Flat out, not a question, not even close. Briar is, I wouldn't say even very good at doing grubs compared to the people that are good at doing grubs, like someone like Brand, right? You are not in the Brand category. She's good at them, right? Stack them up, get some W's, whatever, W2 damage. Yeah, just do dragon. I promise you. Grubs don't matter. They're cope. They're copium, right? The best thing that you can do with a grub is pick up one just to get your jungle pet and the experience, right? That's it. So no, take the one Drake over the two grubs, and then with the second grub, that's 8 minutes, so basically the time that they did them was probably a minute, so that's 9 minutes in game time. So if you did dragon, there's 1 minute left on that dragon. When they get the second grub, you should be already recalling for that dragon fight. Then they would try and recall, but you'd have vision prepped on dragon. So take the 2 drags there. When do I path top? I only really path top if I see like it's a matchup that will fight a ton, okay? In which 3 camp is better to go top lane, because top laners they're going to fight. If the matchup's going to fight, they will fight at all times. So if it's like Fiora versus Set, right? I'll 3 camp to top, reset, go bot, and still play for drag. That's it. At the moment in any game that I gank top, it's because it was purely just free for me at that moment. I just happened to clear in the way that it got me top lane. But again, if you're going to gank top lane, do it after a 3 camp. Hit Red Raptor's Krugs, right, end top side. Blue Wolves Gromp, go top, reset to kill their top lane and reset to your red. Get as many camps as you can, play for level 4. Yeah, that's it. 99% of games you should be going bot lane. How to deal with junglers that are bound to outscale you. If they outscale you, then you have a free early game versus them. Like someone like Brand isn't going to outskirmish you unless you take every spell. So just get active. Don't try and over farm, right? Farm what's efficient, right? Like usually against them, I'll take a full clear, gank bot, pray for that to go good, recall, and then try and look as active as possible. And how do you look to be active? If laners are trading, you are walking. That is it. There's no secret to it. Good jungling beats outscaling AP laners. That's it. Or junglers. There you go. Okay, I'm going to put this one up. It sounds like you had a terrible experience with a bad game. I will say, like, 90% of that game only exists and maybe feels like it's more than a regular game. Maybe you even remember it because that timer had the ability to speak to you. Guess what? That's a privilege. Click mute. The moment they say anything to you, mute. Boom. Done. I'm focused on the game. So yeah, how do I stay locked in? It's because I don't see a lot of the BS that's said to me. I don't, right? Jungle Diff. Oh, cool. I can't hear what you said anymore. It's crazy. And the thing is, when you mute someone, they still see your pings. So it's not even like you're losing out on your communication. They still see it. You don't see their pings. What are they going to do? Ping you? You know what I'm saying? You really just got to abuse the mute button, brother. It sounds like, the only reason you remember this game is because you remember what he said and how he talked and all that. Guess what? Focus on you. And the only thing that exists is you, right? Everything else is just AI. It doesn't exist. It's queue up. Play your game. Learn something for yourself. And that's really it. And that helps you stay locked in. Is one, I don't see as many things that annoy me. And two, I'm at a point in life where I've grown up. Let me tell you, man, I played this game for over 12 years. I've had my 10 years of getting mad, and I realized that after 10 years, it didn't help anything. I never remember a time where I was losing and I got mad and something good happened. And then it affects other parts of your life. They don't make other parts of your life better. They don't, man. No one's been like, wow, that guy that's mad all the time, love what he's got going on there. It's like, no, man, it's not how it works. Right, so, I realized I was wasting my own time, and I became crazy of my own time, because as I got older, I realized, man, there's only 24 hours each day, and it was up to me to fix that, right, to maximize what I get out of those 24 hours. And then when it became obvious to me that, hey, man, stop getting mad, stop messing up, just do what you can do, right, and be a human being, and that's it. And that's it, man. There's no cheat to it, and it's tough. It is not easy to not get mad. It's not easy, but it's a skill like anything else you learn, right? You think about it like RuneScape. If you have levels 1 through 99, you would say that your how much you care about your time would probably be a low level if you're letting people waste your time by talking to you. That's kind of like an analogy, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, no, I care too much about my time. Maybe to a fault, but I'm not mad about it. It's who I am. Okay, wow, we started with some long questions. We got Greggy here. How do you feel about Force of Nature on Briar? Negatron Cloak seems like a great build path, and it gives tons of MR if you get stunned, which is one of Briar's big weaknesses against AP champs. It's good. It's not great, and there's better options. The 50 MR does feel good. I will say, like, Merc Treads plus no magic, right, is 50 MR the same. And most of the time, like, AP, burst mages are kind of countered by health. That they, if you have so much health that they can't burst you, and then you grab a little bit of magic resist, you're somehow living the dream now. So Steric's Spirit Visage has been my goat. Wit's End has been surprisingly good. Right, Wit's End 50 MR the same. So I do acknowledge that Force of Nature is like a one-item answer to both health and MR. But I think Briar falls off if she gets like tank items, like too tanky of items. I think she falls off a little bit for standard games. Like if you're all in on Hearthstone and you get a ton of stacks, right, you can kind of scale in that way. But overall, in a standard bruiser or lethality game, just going a flat tank item, you'll feel the lack of damage. So I don't like it there. Another Greggy question, how do I deal with Shyvana? She does so much damage. So she's a full clear jungler that needs dragons, right? So you have a free early game against her. You beat her in most 1v1s until like 2 items. It's not really your job to beat her 1v1. More so, you try and punish her with your team, right? Her champ kind of sucks at times, right? Unless she's like blasting you with 1,000 damage ease, in which she probably got too strong. Right? When she's ahead, she's super, super tough to deal with. Some champs are just harder to deal with when they're ahead over just dealing with the champ that's ahead, She just kind of is good against melees, right? She has fast movement speed, runs around, does a ton of damage, tons of autos, tons of high damage spells, good movement with her R. She's just a good champ when she gets items, but her early game is abusable. So get active when laners are trading. You're walking. Get ahead, win with items, take away her jungle. Even taking 1 camp per her rotation is surprising how much it does. And because, like, here's the long explanation, right? If you full clear and then reset and then full clear, you'll notice that you can kind of nonstop take camps like a circle. 4. And then recall, and then 4, and recall. And you'll notice that when you take one, people start looking for worse plays because they don't have that last camp to then get their recall and go, because that'd be too much time they're wasting at their Krugs. That when you start taking away their camps, you'll realize that they're going to start like ADHD ganking. And most of the time those ganks are terrible. And that goes a long way. So good jungling beats her. Just keep learning how to jungle. Why do I keep missing the best Briar streams? Who's the best Briar? I don't know. I could help you. I don't know who it is. I'd have to know their schedule. All right, we got Chaos here. He says, got a few questions. Would you ever be down making a tuber with viewers if they were ever doing All for One and having 5 Briars run across? That sounds awesome. I believe One for All was out when Briar was out, but I just didn't know any other people that played Briar, or rather that mained Briar. There's people that were, playing her for the temp elo and whatnot, but I'd be down. I'm not against that at all. I'd make tubers with viewers right now, but there's people in my YouTube comments that if I'm not playing in ranked or high elo to them, that they don't care, which I think is a commonly pretty stupid thing most of the time, because it's what I'm doing, or it's what a great player's doing, maybe not even me, that is all you need to see. You actually don't really need to see what the other person does. That's how I view it, because when I beat down on an emerald player, right, I make them look silver, and if an emerald player beats down on a silver player, it makes them look iron, right? You're kind of reverting people back to factory settings. So I don't know. I learn very well through just seeing what the right player's doing, rather than what the wrong player's doing wrong, right? So it works for me, but I understand not everyone learns the same, and I'm open to doing both. Second question: how would you get someone to stop using Briar like if they're really bad, I wouldn't. Just I want people to learn, man. That's why I do this, right? I'm not making full-time wage, right? I work my main job. I do this because I love teaching people. So for your question, I would never tell anyone to quit. I would just tell them to get better, and that's it. But that might have been a joke. What would be the biggest advice you would give to any low elo Briar players? Learn how to jungle, then learn Briar. Learn how to jungle. Get good at these mechanical champs, because then you can take like you would say, Xin Zhao, Briar, Sejuani, they're easy champs. But the difference between a good and great Briar is they were probably good at a different high mechanical champ, and now they're making Briar look crazier. Okay, and much to the same degree that regular people won't even see how in depth your Briar combo was sometimes, because they just see it as oh, he hit W, right? And then when you break it down, I'm like, here's why this combo was cool. They're like, yeah, anyway, anyone could do that. And it's like, yeah, probably anyone could, but they're not, right? And so I would say just learn how to play the game. Pick a second jungler that you like. Briar isn't the only champ you like. Briar isn't the only champ that's cool. Xin Zhao is cool. Graves is cool. Lee Sin is cool. These are cool champs. Learn someone else, and you'll come back to Briar and you'll be like, I'm up for the challenge while also loving the challenge that's in my hands right now. So yeah, the biggest piece of advice is just learn League. Just learn League. Don't necessarily look at it as just learning one thing. Just learn League as a whole. It's an awesome, tough game. Hi, I'm new to Briar from Grok saying I play her top and I have a question. Is Kraken first instead of Blade any good? I want to play her a little bit tank. Briar has 30 builds. I'm going to be honest. I would say 15 are most competitive, and I would say there's 8 that are very competitive. Kraken is more in the cook area where it's you can go this. There will be a time where you can't do this as consistently, and I would say even the farther you go up, the more punishing doing this will be. But at the end of the day, if people have gotten Challenger with crazier stuff, trust me, just make it work. You have to identify what your goal is to then define if it's achievable through your methods here. So if you wanted to get Challenger rank 1 playing Briar Kraken top every game, I would say that would be harder than just playing Briar. So it's define what your goals are, and I'll tell you, I could gauge how easy or hard it would be to do Kraken every game, because nothing is stopping you from clicking those items in game, right? Nothing stops you from doing it every game. Nothing stops you from building 6 Rabadons every game unless the game doesn't let you, right? So yeah, I think you got this. Do what you like. All right, we got Victor from YouTube here. Worst matchups, what to ban? Easy matchups, best duos. Worst matchups, I would say Elise, Aurora. AP junglers can be tough because it's tough to buy magic resist sometimes. But overall, I would say whatever personally beats you is the best. I say if you're going to ban something that's picked a lot, right? So let's say Elise is my biggest counter, right? But Elise is picked in less than 1% of games, so I don't ban Elise because the odds of you seeing her are low, so that you can kind of get a 6th ban by not having to ban Elise because she's not picked. So then I ban Viego because he has a 10% pick rate, right? And it's the matchup's playable, but it's so much easier for someone to be a mediocre Viego and pull one over on me because his team kills me, and then he gets a reset. Now he's playing me, and I'm always fed. So then he's fed Briar, and it's dude, I just ban something that's picked a lot, but also is kind of your thing. Easy matches. I think Briar is actually that good in anything GM and under that you could pick her every game. You just have to do Briar things, really. Easiest matchups are against tanks, though. Tanks can't do nothing to you unless you fell behind, right? If you fall behind, tanks destroy you. Don't fall behind. How do you not fall behind? Go back and watch how you die, and then stop dying that way. Best duos, I mean, any CC laner. Pantheon, like top laners are usually pretty good duos if you're going to play for topside. Pantheon, Set, anything that just point and click stuns does a ton of damage, you follow up with your stun and it's wraps. Literally anything with CC is your go-to though. Or just a lane with Prio if they don't have CC is usually pretty good. We got Human here. Human says, what do you think about her name and the fact that she can self-taunt? Name's cool. I like how it's spelled. The fact that she can self-taunt, cool. She's cool. I like her, man. That's why I play her. And if she was in an alternate universe, a champion from 2010, for example, would you still main her, taking consideration she had a 1-1 kit? So you're saying, like, if in a world she was dropped in the game in Season 1, would I still play her? Well, I picked up the game in Season 2, and Season 2 I loved a Mumu. Mumu was hard to me then. And then I found a Lee Sin in Season 3, and that's when, I did most of my grinding was Season 3 through 5. So when I played her, back then, man, I was a kid, so I was playing everyone. So yes, would I have mained her? I can't say. I do think she's cool, and I would have thought she's cool back then. I think I would have found my way to maining her because I have the ability to play all those champs right now, and most of them are arguably better in the meta too. Right, but I just play her because right now in life she's just the most fun to me. So we would have probably found each other. I would say. I think that's fair. Briar, very advanced combos and tricks. Do you think we'll see her in pro? How would you buff her to achieve it? Okay, so combos and tricks. I actually have videos about that. Most of them aren't too crazy. I'm working on trying to find more, but I will say. It's not how advanced the combo is, it's the consistency in you performing it. So stop messing up your Hydra timings, whichever one you use, your Stride timings, Zhonya's timing, your E timings. Just be very consistent. The most advanced you can be with Briar is never messing up a single thing. I would say if you needed an answer, the extended W is really good. So if you haven't seen the other videos, that's where like if I'm here, minions are here, and enemy champion's here running away, me knowing the exact spot to W to run towards the minions, and then through the minions aggroing to that person, extended W I think is very tough to see sometimes, and if done correctly, it's very, very cool. And then do you think we'll see her in pro? She was played in a Red Bull tournament by Owner, and he actually, I think he did E into, like, Q start. It was really bad. It was, like, first week, though. I don't blame him. And he was probably playing other things in that week, too. The game basically was, like, a Faker 1v5, if you go and watch it. Faker, like, he gets, like, a 4-man Nico ult at one point, and then the game just ends there because they're T1. I don't think she's going to make it into pro unless there's, like, a build that's so insane in the meta. One, because bruiser junglers are like, the bruiser junglers that make it are doing everything, right? They're Viego effect, they're Lee Sin, right? That it's kind of tough that unless she either gets like a small mid-scope or there's just a Briar interaction /bug/item that comes out in the future, probably not. But to make her be able to do it, probably she just needs like a little bit of quality of life, maybe a little E change, and I think she could be good. I think her W like self taunt, I don't think that's that bad. I really don't, because like it's just playing out the cinematic of a fight. That's all it's doing. When you W, it's on you to know that the fight's a win by knowing where people are and how the fight will interact with their champion. So WQ I think are fine. I think E is the problem, that E isn't doing enough against what they're doing while also stopping my movement. And her ult isn't that bad because you like if you're on a pro team, right? Oh, pros would just dodge it. Well, pros would be CC'd by my pro support. Wow, it's not crazy. So yeah, no, I think E is the only thing that's like truly holding her back. It's just the fact that you have to cast this spell that doesn't really have that much of a return unless you're getting 2 or 3 people into a wall by also standing still. I think that's too much to ask for out of one spell. How do you decide which jungle pet to bring? I usually see green, but I'm curious when the others are viable. Also, what would you buff on Briar within reason, of course? Wouldn't want to get her banned every game again. True. Green is Briar's best because you'll never play a game of Briar without taking damage. Okay, you'll never do it. If you do that and it lasts more than 20 minutes, you didn't take 1 point of damage. $100. Okay. Now, to the same degree, it's like, well, you'll also kill camps, Logan. You'll also kill camps and get movement speed, and it's like, true. That's your second best option. Because health is what keeps you from dying, right? And dying is effectively a loss of movement speed because you're dead. You're waiting for the clock, right? So in tiered focus, green is the best. Blue is slightly under that because blue is very good. Don't get me wrong, it's very good. And then red's super far under. Red's damage has been nerfed enough that it just, like, effectively I do more damage than what red provides by having the movement speed of blue, right? If you try and run away in a bush, boom, I'm there, right? And then effectively me not having to leave a fight because my health is higher is effectively more damage than what red is providing because I have tank stat. So green. Blue, if you want to try and out full clear a full clear jungler, I've done it on stream. I've done it in Masters. It's good. It's good. Green is still the best. What champion did you play before Briar's release? I was playing a ton of Kindred, Jarvan, Kayn, Graves, Xin. Those were my best. You can probably see it on my OPGG. Talia. I was playing literally everyone. Just because, like, when no one spoke to you, you know what I'm saying? Like, when someone hasn't spoke to you, you just play whatever, right? And, yeah, that was it. I was playing them all. But mostly I would just go through a phase. Whatever was good that patch, I would just do it. Like I'll tell you, if I ever dropped out of Masters, like, I tilt queued to, like, Diamond, I would pick Jarvan and I would 3-camp to bot every game, even if the same people were in the lobby. I would do it every game. And my Jarvan win rate was like 60% that season over like 60 games. Because, like, you just find something that you like to do and then do it, right? Think about chess, right? Chess, you have your opener and then you kind of learn the options of what enemies do and then how you counter what they do after your opener. That's kind of like jungling, right? I would pick my opener, which was my camps, right? If I was playing Karthus, I'd full clear. If I was playing Jarvan, I'd 3-camp. If I was playing Xin, I'd 4 or 5-camp into a gank. And then you just build upon that, and that's how you get better. And then you figure out what Jarvan does, and now you know his options. Now you're on Kindred, now you know Kindred's options, and you just keep getting better. Maybe for the next question and answer, is there SB who you always ban? SB? I always ban Viego just because it's high played. That's it. I'm a beginning player. What would be a roadmap to climb? On which things focus first? What kind of kit developed? Example, optimizing clear, jungle looking at the map, lines, 3 minutes. When can I take objectives? When can I counter jungle? So if you're just getting into League, don't delete that whole comment. Learn what champions do. Learn every single champ. Test yourself. What is their QWE and R? Okay? What do they like to do? Right? Vayne likes to get items and abuse invis. Vel'Koz likes to poke. Learn that, and then everything else falls into place. It really does. You'll be like, because you'll make informed decision. Hey, I'm at, Dragon right now, and I see Lee Sin at 400 health. Okay, I know through my Lee Sin experience that he cannot contest me right now, and if he did, I would do this. And that's just how it works. Knowing champions is everything. It's key. Everything else is a detail. This is a VOD of me on Lee Sin, by the way, from my previous Clash Day. But so this question is, what are some common mistakes that low elo Briars make, and what should they work on? A lot of low elo Briar mains misunderstand that it's not you with Briar, it's you as a jungler, or a top laner, or a mid laner, whatever you play. You don't understand League enough, because if you understood League, then you would know what to do with Briar in those situations. So focus less on a Briar build, unless you want inspiration, or maybe you just feel like this build isn't working right now. And focus more on just you as a player. Okay? Why am I dying in jungle here? Why didn't I assume this would happen? Why did I play this team fight this way? What was I thinking, and how can I change my thoughts? That matters more than, my Briar mechanics are bad. Is there a consistent way of biting towers with W2? I've heard people saying that they've been able to do this, but don't know if there's a trick to it. It's 100% consistent for me. So what I do is I take my mouse, I right-click on the turret, okay? I right-click on the turret, and then you'll see Briar do her auto thing, whichever one, right? And something enemy must be near. Minions, champions, or even neutral monsters, whatever. Maybe pull the Krug, I don't know. Right-click the turret, have something around, and then mash WW2, just spam, right? And you'll get it every time. But most people misunderstand that you need something enemy around. So definitely check and make sure that you have something enemy around. How exactly does the animation cancel ultimate combo work? What is the effective use of it? So I think you're talking about W1R, in which it's just it's like not like it's some game breaker, okay? It's kind of like a 1%er thing where it slightly hides your starting windup of your Rcast, which is like cool because some people they take a lot from how much information you give them, right? So if I stand still, calculate my R angle, and you see me look here, you know I'm shooting R here. But if I do like a linear sideways or a little diagonal dash here, and then I shoot R a little bit this way, right? Now you're seeing like a slide like this, and you have to kind of calculate it by also not knowing, exactly where the W stops. And it's just an animation cancel, right? So you're just doing two things at once, where one, you're getting closer, making your R easier to hit, and then two, you're hiding some of the animation, giving them less time to react to it. Not always the best thing to do because you lose the ability to W after you hit R. But there will be times where your W won't catch up. You have no QE, your W won't catch up, you don't have flash, and you only have W and R. Your last option is to shoot R. So you might as well make it more consistent. And that's it. It's just giving you another 1%er option to get those running away kills to then snowball the game that much harder. If there are any quality of life changes you would give our girl to make her better, what would they be? Q. Target priority. Why am I jumping to teammates when they're standing on an enemy? What would the benefit be if there was one? There isn't any. I've thought of every circumstance. There's never a single one in which you'd rather jump to a teammate. So why? I don't think E is solvable by just doing let her be able to move a little bit or let her turn the angle. I don't think that solves the spell. I'll even say that August talks about we want to keep Briar very inty, right? We want to keep her very inty here, so we let her die. I don't think E being better really changes it being inty because you're still going to find yourself under that turret. You're going to find yourself in the middle of 5 people. You're going to find yourself in their fountain, okay? Built into the R and W. So giving her a changed E, I think, could be very good to just changing the champion. If there was if this is considered a quality of life or a big change, let me know. But if I'm Briar against 2 enemies and I'm running towards them with W, let me right click just to slightly turn and kind of gauge her who to go to. Right? Not very much, of course, but just let me choose. If 2 people are standing on top of each other, let me at least choose the one. Don't let them, Because again, I'm still beelining towards the enemy team. It can't be that crazy to let me vaguely choose. It's probably that. How much ability haste do you think is good for Briar to have? I've been going Legend Haste instead of Alacrity, and I've been enjoying it a lot, honestly. So it go with thinking, is Legend of Haste a better option or Alacrity? I have 85% win rate with Briar top right now. Good flex. Nice, let's go. 85%. Why are you asking me? If you're winning 85 out of 100 games, don't change anything. If I said Alacrity's better and what you do sucks, numbers talk, right? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Don't change anything if you have 85% win rate. But yeah, so here's the thing about Legend Haste. Right now, people are talking about this. It doesn't give you ability haste on your R. So just in case any of you don't know, Legend ability haste only gives you QW and E cooldown. Okay. To answer your first question, how much ability haste is good? 20 to 35 ability haste is the sweet spot for me, where I'm not losing so much of other stats to build it, but I'm also getting enough that, like, some fights, if they take 2 rotations of my W, I have them in a space that they don't get too far away. So yeah, 20 to 35. And then Alacrity just, like, I don't know, man. It bypasses her need to build attack speed. Like, with W at max rank and then Alacrity, it just feels like it's enough. So yeah, although I don't think it's necessary, bring a Legend Haste if you like it. It's good. That's it. I just like Alacrity, and your game will almost never be decided by your rune choice. Pick the one that feels the best. Does Briar have any bugs? Obviously with Spaghetti Code, and what are they? I wouldn't know particularly. There's a lot of talk about them, but sometimes, like, they're just kind of weird. I would say, like, the bugs, if we're going to call them it, I don't like when my R or W are going to hit someone, and then does the, like, she's like, and then there's, like, the second check to make sure that she can continue the auto, and she stops, and then she's, but you never autoed once. I don't like that. That's not really a bug. That's kind of how the game is designed, but it's a product of her system of Frenzy. I don't like if you W towards the later end of your R hitting and killing someone that you'll get stuck and not able to move. I know people have had that one. I've gotten that one a few times myself. Don't like that. And again, Q priority target of ally champ over enemy. Hate those. Briar buff when? Tomorrow. Actually, 12 hours. Considering some other newer champs have gotten legendary skins, if you could have Briar get a legendary, what thematic would you want her to get with? Now, I get this question a lot. Look, man, I'm a Pool Party, I'm a Coven, I'm a Blood Moon, I'm a Dawnbringer, I'm a Nightbringer, I'm a Briar enjoyer. Actually, it doesn't matter. If she gets anything, I'm buying 3 of them, okay? And I'm playing all of them. But those 5 are kind of my go-tos for, what I think she would look best in. Thoughts on how to deal with Yi better? I struggle infinitely against him all the time. Other tips for matchups like Kayn, Nocturne as a low elo player would also be helpful. Learn League better. If you have trouble with Nocturne, it's because you're not abusing that his spell shield can be smited. So, there's a lot of times a Briar player would be like, I can't E him. I'm like, yeah, you can. Just save your smite. Don't use it on that little wolf that was at 200 health. Right? Charge up E. If he goes to spell shield it, you smite it, and if he doesn't spell shield it, he's in the wall, and then you W, right, you're hitting him, and then you wait for him to W again, you smite it, then Q him. If you're having trouble with Kayn can be annoying, just abuse the game if he's ever in a wall. WQ him inside the wall, he insta-pops out. That's usually pretty good, and abuse that. You beat him early game, if he has 1,200 gold on you, it doesn't matter, beat him. And then Master Yi is kind of like a skill check that, like, kind of telling you, hey, I got to learn League a little better because he is the pub stomper. It's just what he does. So I would say, learn kind of more about League. Learn your job in a team fight. Do you need to let your team deal with Yi, you go their backline, okay? Or do you have to cue the Yi when he goes to your team? Figure out what's going wrong in a team fight the first time it happens, and then fix it. That's it. Some games you're going to have to just go kill 3, pray your team handles him. Sometimes he's going to, like, run a trade to carry. You're going to Q him. He's going to Q to counter your Q. You're going to hold E and pray that your team walks to you. Is what it is. You just got to adapt. You got to make it work. You got to have a better early game. You got to make sure you're out snowballing him, and that's it. Generally, when to build lethality, bruiser, off tank. As in, enemy team comp, your own team comp, what champion do I want to play versus and with? I don't really think of Briar like this that much. I would say probably put your focuses elsewhere. Pick a favorite build, main your favorite build, and then learn and build upon it like I've talked about previously. I got to GM last split with lethality only, and it wasn't even close. And then Bruiser, I got to GM with Bruiser again this split. And then off tank was like I got to like Masters 200 LP before I just got bored of it because back then you were going Conqueror, Titanic, Sterix, Spear Visage every game, and I just literally got bored. I just play whatever I think is fun, dude. You've seen me, you've watched my YouTube, dude. I go through phases. I play whatever I want. I just try and learn League, and then just have Briar Briar is the paint, League is the canvas, right? So it's like, and you're the brush, or the person with the brush, right? So it's like, just pick your best one, and that's it. Just have fun, really. Just have fun. That's all it is. What do I ban besides Aurora? Best duos, hardest matchups. Matchups, you can watch the full guide, again, on YouTube. But Elise is the hardest matchup. People that out full clear you can, like, change the game where, like, if you don't get enough opportunities from your team and you're against a full clear jungler like Karthus, he's going to outscale you. You never got a chance. That's going to happen some games. Probably not anywhere under Masters, but still. Best duos, anything with Prio or CC. And what do you ban outside Aurora? Any popular jungler. When Hecarim was 20% pick rate, I banned Heck every game. When Viego was 15% pick rate, I banned Viego every game. I just ban popular stuff because the thing is, popular picks are most of the time broken on that patch that anyone can do it. Like, a broken champ is not defined by a few good players doing it, okay? A broken champ is when anyone can do it, okay? So if anyone can do it, I don't want to lose to someone that's worse than me. I'd rather play against someone that's worse than me, and then I show them how much better I am, and also double down, prove to myself that I've grown as a player by beating a player that I know I'm better than, by, just getting rid of this champion that's taking over the game. Had some issues with Briar Q when I want to change target when there is more than one champ. You probably were just out of range. Q is a consistent spell. It always does what it does, but you're probably out of range, so then you couldn't use Q. Maybe you need to flash into place. Either way, that sounds like a you W'd at the wrong time thing, in which you could probably go back and look at the direction or timing of your W to try and do a little better there. But I think you got it. And what sort of match would I use Eclipse Under the Sky? Also, who would be your second pick at Briar's band? Right now, I've been playing some Viego. I mean, it's a broken champ, right? Anyone can do it. Plus, I just like him. I think he's cool. I play Eclipse Under the Sky currently just because I think it's fun. I like short burst windows, doing a ton of damage, and then resetting the situation. I kind of like the control I get because the idea, I'll try and go into it, but if me and this jungler right here meet, right, and I short burst trade, I W, auto Q, PTA, bite, and then I E, they run away from the E, but they're too far to get their engage afterwards, okay, then I know you're at 400 health, let's say. Now I have a better idea of your options, and if you had 3 options, gank mid, gank top, recall, if I just put you to 400 health, now those options switch up, right? Because if my top laner would kill you at 400 health, now you lost that option, okay? Now you have mid and recall, and I get to better read you like a book if I do this build. Whereas something like Titanic, I build Titanic, I play for every team fight on Earth, and then I just demolish you by playing for my bot lane. My Jinx has 6 kills. All I do is I stand in front of her. So yeah, Eclipse Under Sky is more like a me playstyle thing. I like to take every single thing away from you and watch you bleed out in jungle, in game. So yeah, that's it. Tell us your life story. I don't think you have enough time for that, but man, I'm just a guy. I try and learn every day. I haven't had a perfect life. No one has, right? I've been an angry guy for a long time, and it took a long time to to develop who I am. And I don't I bring up age a lot. You probably noticed if you watch for long enough, but I give these young players a lot of slack sometimes because I've been there. I know what it's like to be a delusional kid mad at the world. I've been through it. Okay, I've it's taken me a long time, man. So there's not too much to tell. It's ask me if I've been through something. I might tell you yes. I might tell you no. Some things are meant for me to keep, right? But yeah, man. I just try my best every day, man. Try my best every day. That's all you can do. What are the 3 hardest matchups? How do you play around Rammus? I would say Viego's probably annoying because no matter what, if he goes 0-10, if you ever die, mess up once, he takes your soul and now he's fed. How to play against Rammus? If he ever Qs you and goes to bonk you, you buffer E to push him back immediately. He taunts you, you run away, and now he has no Q or E. He has W, which is only good at UW. So overall, that matchup's pretty simple. So yeah, Elise, Viego, and then any meta AP jungler is going to be pretty tough for you. But just do your best. Tips for lethality, or another explain for first item because I'm dumb. I don't know what you mean. I don't think you're dumb. Tips for lethality is that you have to play Briar differently, and some people need to be told that. But yeah, you're not going to enter fights like you do Bruiser, where you ult in and now you're in front of 4 people. And you're also not even going to take a fight where they know where you are. The key tip to lethality is good vision denial and good positioning. You need the fight to start on your team, and then you W over the longest wall you possibly can, right to their 80 carry, get an auto attack Q, auto attack, perfect W2 every time. And you want to do all of that before your Q stun runs out, and then you buffer the W2 if they go to flash away. Bam, they lost flash and died to W2. It's so free. Thoughts on this build? Eclipse / Borks or one of the other Heartsteel, Sundered Sky, Maw, DD. Now Heartsteel is only gold efficient at after 300 stacks, so that's why I say get it early. You didn't say if it was jungle or top lane. I will say if you're playing top lane, grab Heartsteel, then everything else. If you're playing jungle, I would say replace that Heartsteel with like anything else, really. Black Cleaver. Black Cleaver would give you health, kind of what you're looking for. Although I get it. You see the little circle, boom, right? Like you get the stacks, it feels cool. Heartsteel is not like a fill-in item. Your build is around Heartsteel. That's why you see in my YouTube videos, right? I make Heartsteel-based, videos. It's because you have to, really. It's not that good of a filler item. Okay, this question isn't too complex, but every time I try and read it, I at least mess up one word. I get what you're trying to say here. You're like trying to like figure out like, hey, what neat little time do I completely invalidate something? And that's a cool thought, and I think you should think things like this first of all. I don't know. Someone would have to run the numbers on that one. I will say, because it changes, right? It goes like, the Q armor and MR reduction go from 10 to 20%. So I would say at different times it would change. So it's actually probably more in depth than we think. So I have no clue. That'd be interesting. Which skin line would you want Briar to be a part of? We already answered this one, but again, my number one is Coven or Blood Moon. So that's my number one is those two. If I only tap E, will it still damage and slow the opponent if they're in the fully charged E range? We have gift Briar skins. So if you tap E, it doesn't do its max damage as you see in the description. And it does a 90% slow every time that it doesn't do enough to push. So it'll always slow, and it'll always do damage. The charge up kind of decides the damage and if they go flying or not. Will I gift Briar skins? Give me to 75. No, I'm kidding. Like most of the people that do giveaways, Riot gives them the code to give away, okay? So if Riot ever gives me anything to give to you guys, it's going right to you guys. That's just how it works. Riot, if you're watching this, put your boy on. Look, I can sell stuff. I can sell stuff. You want me to sell you this bottle right now, okay? Blender bottle. Come on now. What about if it said Tyler 1 Reformed, right? Come on now you want it. I can sell some stuff, right? If you're watching this, let me know. How to get out of Iron? Play the game. I think you got it. If you're still losing in Iron, like negative win rate in Iron, I would say chalk up what you think, okay? And start from the bottom. Go play a different role. Go play a different champion. And also dedicate some time to this, okay? League is not easy. It's easy for some. It is not easy for all. Guys, the game is tough. If a game comes out tomorrow, you're defining what the meta is. So it's easy, right? You see someone doing a good build, you take it that day, bam, now you're the best at that too. Okay, the league has been out for 14 years or however long when you're watching this. That's metagame that has defined. Guys, I was 3 camp invading when you were in diapers. I was 3 camp invading in season 2. Okay? So I'm probably going to respond to you 3 camp invading me better because I know the things that I know your options. I know what you're thinking. I've done them before. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from the things that you even did well. Okay? And then just build upon it. Try doing the same jungle start 10 games in a row. And then tell me what you learned. Okay? And then try something else. Make mistakes. Learn stuff. And then at certain points, go and look at someone that's better than you, okay? And then try your best to find out every single thing that they thought, did, and why it was smart. That's it. Don't just watch. No, pick it apart, man. Don't leave anything in this world to chance. This world is your oyster, and break it down, everything, as deep as you can. Because everything worth knowing is past the surface. Okay, the last and final question that I get this actually like probably every time I stream is, why do you think you're the rank 1 Briar? Why do you think you're the best Briar world? And the truly humble part of me thinks that I don't think there is one best of anything most of the time, because I truly believe there's always someone better. And it's hard for me to gauge, like, what even is a best Briar? What is a best Briar? Is it someone that has the best results with them? On what patch? Building what items? Could they do it on this build? Would that change what makes you the best? So it's tough for me to subscribe to such a thought. Now, what I do is I try and abide by what the masses think, okay? I'm not saying everyone thinks it, right? Hear me out, right? So, if people say it, then I regurgitate it, right? It's just a YouTube name, right? It's just to get the conversation going. Because let's think about it. If I bring up the question, if I say I'm rank 1 Briar, and you say, no, I think he is, at least we're talking about it, right? Because that continuously pushes Briar players to this new spot, right? No, I think I'm better than him, and I'm going to show it this way, okay? And now there's some objective means, like, rank, win rate, stats, and I'll even go into some of them. Rip Briar, she's still just fine. Thanks for the following. I'll go into some popular memes for you guys, because there's some that matter to you guys, and I'll go through with it. So let's talk about the main two websites. You have onetricks.gg. I'll move my camera for you. Oh, that's not the camera. There we go. I'll move the camera and I'll try and show you guys. So OneTricks is actually a really cool one, where this website stat tracks all of the main servers, so NA, Korea, and EUW, that it can. China doesn't really send us numbers like that. And just puts them all into a website, and we'll get into that. And then there's Porofessor, or League of Graphs, which also has like an updated their own algorithm. Is their algorithm the utmost of everything ever? No. It's an algorithm, and it gets cracked like every other one. And so much so, they literally say how to crack it. So stop using this as the tried and true, guys. Now, I will say, when you get it, when you're double rank 1 right here, that is awesome. Especially if you did it legitimately. Actually, only if you did it legitimately, right? And we'll get into that. Yeah, that's awesome. Be proud of it. There's no reason why you shouldn't. But it's not this, like, ever-changing thing. Like the rank 1 on this today, and then there's a rank 1 tomorrow. It doesn't mean the rank 1 yesterday isn't good. It's just a, use it as a detail, not your whole point. And so let's go into OneTricks, right? So I'll give you guys some rundowns of some popular Briar players that I've kept up with, that I know of, that could be in the running. And maybe if you think I'm in the running, thank you. I try and prove it every day. If you don't, that's fine. Don't. I run it down more games than you probably play. It's that simple. So here's when Briar came out, split 2 of 2023. As you can see, 2020 split 1, she didn't exist, right? So you have 6 Briars outside of Masters. So let's talk about them. So who was the best Briar on these servers this day? Okay. Well, you have Potato Porcupine, who went 1,051 LP, but he played her 26% of the time with a pretty good win rate, 57, and a good KD. Well, what happens if this guy, 57 is whatever, right? But if we're here, what if he was playing someone else, okay? What if he had a 70% win rate on Lilia, okay? And that Lilia shot him up 600 LP. Well, then that means that he would be a 451 LP player without Lilia. So maybe he's the GOAT of Lilia, right? Guys, you got to think about this stuff, please. So here you go. So this is one of the things I mention a lot, is in terms of Briar OTPs, okay, right? OTP, there's only two. It's me and this guy. Now, these guys, they don't get the OTP because they didn't have over 50% play rate. That's just their algorithm. That's what they chose. It's a number they chose. Some guy was like, I think 50%. And then he went to his boss. His boss was like, that sounds hard. Let's do 50. It's that simple. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't have to matter to you. If you think I needed 60, or a player needed 60% play rate, that's good. Again, use that as your detail. It's not your point. So yeah, so in this one, I talk about myself. I'm pretty proud of this one, right? Because Briar was broken, but how broken was she if there's only 6 people doing it? And only 2 of which mained her and did it, you know? And so it's like, well, who's the GOAT of this season? And it's like, could be this guy. Could be me. I'll give you some points. You decide your own opinion, guys. I'm not telling you your opinion. I'm just stating things. I had a 1% play rate. Higher. Probably means not much. He had 130 more games than me. Now, to say, if you asked me, hey, Logan, if you played 130 games that split, what are the odds that you went +2, right? Because he's, 34 LP, that's 2 wins. So in 130 games, I had to go +2 only one time to go higher LP. So I would say this is probably a point down for him. Just because you have more time than me doesn't necessarily mean you're better than me. And 2, everyone knows Riot Games' rank system is catered to the player that plays more, right? So it's not his fault, right? And that can't be taken away from him, that much. But it also can't really give me too much either, because it's impossible to say a world that I did. I only played that many games because that's all the time I had to play games. My win rate was 3% better, which over the grand scheme of 254 games is actually a lot. And my KD was better by quite a big margin. So there you go. Now let's talk about a different split. So let's go 24 split 1. So you have only 3 people on the main servers that got higher than Masters. One of which is this guy on Korea. And I mean, he's kind of a demon. I'll give him credit, man. This guy, and he's also always put up some good Briar numbers, by the way. He's up higher LP. Now, to be fair, they have more games on their servers, and their numbers are higher. That, like, if you were to draw a relative line, right? If the line for GM is 500 on this server and 250, okay, then there's something to say about, like, well, yeah, he's higher LP, but is that relatively the same in terms of skill in that server? And now you can be like, Korea better. So higher LP and Korea better. That sounds good to me. But he also, again, had way more games than me, but whatever. So let's talk about everyone, right? So he had the most games, which, again, if you were to take all 3 players, right, he played way more. So him being 7 games more in terms of LP, what are the odds I couldn't go +7? I don't know. I don't know, right? His win rate was kind of low. I'm not going to lie. If you're one trick, your win rate should be 55 or higher. That's not just to beat this guy. That's, everyone says that. You don't have to believe it, but feel free to. Play rate was kind of low. He was having fun. Okay. And then you have on NA, you had me and Wizla. Wizla was a Briar mid guy. We ended the exact same LP. I had a higher Briar play rate. I had half of his games, the same win rate, and a higher KD. He did get the algorithm chose his name first. Okay. That's fine. It's no big deal, right? So, yeah, I think my stats tell the story for this one. I actually handedly think I win this one just because, again, it took me half of his games to get to the same rank. What does that mean, right? Half of his games to get to the same place. Actually, less than half. So that means that I'm tearing it up, right? That's how I see it, and that's probably how it is. But again, come to your own opinion. I can't stress that enough. And then you have right now, which, nothing matters until the end of the season. I'm the only main server Briar out of Masters. And it's like, well, wait, EU's LP is so high. And it's like, yeah, they have more games, they have more players. So that means that inflation will look different. Not to say that their server is better or worse, or the relative LP of 475 on NA is X on any other server, right? Yeah, it is what it is, man. Good for him. I'm not hating. But I will say, man, I'm the only one doing it on my server. And it's like, well, NA's easy, lol. It's like, I'm not going to lie. I think NA's hard to climb on. Unless you're like Turbo the GOAT. Let me tell you, man, the skills that it takes on NA are like a different skill set. Where you have to meet like a minimum baseline skill level, which may be higher on a different server. Could be. Like Korea, it's probably harder to go higher on Korea, like in a skill level. NA is a different skill set, all right? We have bigger ego, okay? We have more mental illness, okay? And if you think EU has more mental illness, that's fine, man. I don't think we can quantify it, but let me tell you, some of these NA games are disgusting, and I know EUW is too. The point of this is that, like, man, you gotta get something crazy to climb on NA sometimes, unless you're playing like the meta, right? Like, so Briar's like probably an objectively bad champion, Masters Plus, right, on NA. So let's see, and this includes my good stats, by the way, right? So go Masters. Like, so Masters Plus NA, this champ has a 44% win rate. EU plays different. Korea maybe plays different, right? We have literally the worst Briar stats ever, okay? So, at worst, you could say, well, Logan might be the GOAT of NA. I would happily take that. And if you think he's not even top 10, I think he's top 20, though, I will more happily take that. Probably because, like, if you think I'm only top 20, you think I'm only top 1,000, you think I'm the worst Briar ever, happy to be included, right? I'm happy that I'm even in the running. Let's go. So, yeah, so that's my rant. This went 12 minutes, but yeah, so these things are details, and they're supposed to be added. Look at the whole picture, right? And then decide. And now let's give EUNE, Vietnam, and other servers some credit. So here's the thing. My understanding of EUW and EUNE is I've never played on them. I don't even understand them. Why are they different? I don't know. I've heard from EUW players have said that if you play on EUNE, you get the same ping on EUW, so why would you play EUNE? I don't know. I'm not there. They can answer it in the comments. Tell them why in the comments. I've heard that you have the same ping, so why would you do it? I have no clue. I don't know. I'm not there. I literally don't know. A lot of people ask me my opinion on stuff like that, and I'm like, guys, I don't know. Some streamers are paid to have an opinion on everything. Guys, I stay in my lane, I play my game, I do my thing. That's it. So, yeah, so if you go here, EUNE Subhumans, 80% win rate, 55 games, challenger on Briar, okay? Yeah, sure. And then, you know, you look, maybe they got some, some duo games in there. Cool, man. This guy speed ran challenger. He did it with, Briar, Olaf, and Belvath. Nice, bro. Cool. I've never played on the server. I don't know. Now, I will say, if you watch some other streamers, they will trash talk these servers. You guys have heard that. That's not even my opinion. I've never been on it. Some people take the opinion they've never been on it. Some people have been on it and have an opinion. That's fine. Yeah, so EUNE, LAN, LAS, Korea, cracked. LAS, Brazil, Russia, EUNE, right? They could be splendid players, okay? What am I supposed to say? I don't know their region. I don't know their players. I don't know how they do. I don't know, man. You just use it as a detail. Hey, well, this guy held rank 1 on Professor for a week, and I think that's very cool. Good. Nice. And just to put it out there, guys, if you want rank 1 on this, you want me to give you the sauce? Here's what everyone does. So let me find someone. Not trash-talking anyone, but there's a method, and people are smart. Some of these players are really smart. Let's maybe look at this guy. No, not him. Not him. Let's see. Here, I'm going to find one. Okay, I'm back. And it actually didn't take long, so I didn't even leave the top 15, okay? So this guy, Russia's rank 1 Briar, rank 8 total in the world on this website, okay? He has 47 games, good win rate. He's low masters, okay? So here's the thing about their algorithm, right, is it maxes out at rank, right? So your rank basically means that once you're masters, you cap out. You're equal to challenger, okay? So right here, tier plus score times that, right? So that means you're like goal 4, goal 1, whatever. 12% from win rate, score times 2, 100% KD, score, and it tells you what to do. And then 50 games, just play 50 games, guys. Don't go over 50. Because all you need is 50 games. Because if you have 49 or anything, you lose percentages for that. You need to have at least played one ranked game over the past 30 days. Guys, make a fresh account. Go duo from silver to masters. And in silver, play Briar 50 games in silver with the duo when both of you are masters. Drop 30 bombs every game. And then hop on a second character. Okay, your secondary. Hop on Belveth. Climb all the way to masters with that player in 30 days. Whoa! He has 30 kills a game on Briar, and he's the GOAT, and he's masters right now. And come on, man! And his last Briar game was 7 days ago with a tier average of silver. How did he do it? It's like, guys, be real with yourself. You're deluded if you can't do it. If they tell you the algorithm, people are going to abuse it. That's okay. And then, more so, let's talk about it. So, who's the best solo queue Briar? Who's the best duo queue Briar? Guys, some of your GOATs, again, play League, have fun, no ego. We're simply talking about how to decide who the best is. Well, take the full picture. If you're going to use this website, this guy has a 34-game streak with this guy going 70% win rate. Okay, so he's a pretty good duo Briar. This guy played 32 with a master player, 62%. This guy duoed the whole time, some of which was pretty bad, some of it was pretty good. This guy duoed with these guys, some of it pretty good, some of it's pretty bad. I assure you they probably won more in low elo and then probably started losing as they got higher, of course, as such things happen. Guys, take the full picture. Stop being sold a narrative. Come to your own opinion. That's all it is to it. But yeah, there's no reason to be bitter about it. Just, if I'm included in any of the Briar players, I appreciate you. And that's it. Conversation ends there. People are like, oh, he's lying. Okay, you're right. I'm lying and I'm fuming. And that's it. But other than that, I hope I answered some of your Briar questions. I know this was a pretty long video, and I didn't expect it to be, but I'm okay with kind of drawing that connection between you and I of, like, streams of consciousness, because that's who I am, and that's what I like. And I upload things that I like. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, comment, and sub. If you want more streams of consciousness, we can talk about it. Maybe shoot me some topics, and we can see where we can go. Maybe anime, manga, games. I don't know. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you learned something. Have a good one. Thank you so much.